Headquarters of Petrobras in Rio de Janeiro. Emblem of the Federal Police of Brazil. Judge Sergio Moro. Delton Delagnol with Rodrigo Janot. Federal Police in an operation. Odebrecht logo. Operation Car Wash was a criminal investigation by the Federal Police of Brazil. Curitiba branch. It began in March 2014 and was initially headed by investigative Judge Sergio Moro, and in 2019 by Judge Luis Antonio Bonath. It has resulted in more than 1,000 warrants of various types. According to the Operation Car Wash Task Force, investigations implicate administrative members of the state-owned oil company Petrobras, politicians from Brazil's largest parties, presidents of the Chamber of Deputies in the Federal Senate, state governors, and businessmen from large Brazilian companies. The federal police consider it the largest corruption investigation in the country's history. Originally a money laundering investigation, it expanded to cover allegations of corruption at Petrobras, where executives allegedly accepted bribes in return for awarding contracts to construction firms at inflated prices. This criminal scheme was initially known as Petrolove because of the Petrobras scandal. The investigation is called Operation Car Wash because it was first uncovered at a car wash in Brasilia. The aim of the investigation is to ascertain the extent of a money laundering scheme, estimated by the regional superintendent of the Federal Police of Paraná State in 2015 at 6 Brazilian reals and 40 centavos minus 42.8 billion, largely through the embezzlement of Petrobras funds. 60:16. It has included more than 1,000 warrants for search and seizure, temporary and preventive detention, and plea bargaining against business figures and politicians in numerous parties. At least 11 other countries were involved, mostly in Latin America, and the Brazilian company Odebrecht was deeply implicated. Investigators indicted and jailed some well-known politicians, including former presidents Fernando Collor de Mello, Michel Temer and Luis Inácio Lula da Silva. The scandal seemed to challenge the impunity of politicians and business leaders and the structural corruption in the political and economic system that had prevailed until then. This was initially thought possible because of the independence of the judiciary. However, documents leaked in June 2019 to Glenn Greenwald at The Intercept suggest that Judge Sergio Moro may have been partial in his decisions, passing on advice, investigative leads, and inside information to the prosecutors to prevent Lula's Workers' Party from winning the 2018 elections. Several top jurisprudence authorities and experts in the world have reacted to the leaks by describing former President Lula as a political prisoner and calling for his release. Lula was ultimately released on the 8th of November 2019. The Car Wash Task Force was officially disbanded on the 1st of February 2021. The initial accusation came from businessman Hermes Magnus in 2008, who reported an attempt to launder money through his company, Danel Industria e Comercio, a manufacturer of electronic components. Ensuing investigations culminated in the identification of 4 large criminal rings, headed by Carlos Habib Chatter, Alberto Youssef, Nelma Kodama, and Raul Enrique Srour. Investigation at first focused on the 4 black market currency dealers and improper payments to Alberto Youssef by companies who had won contracts at Petrobras Abreu and Lima refinery. After they discovered that Dolero Alberto Youssef had acquired a Range Rover Evoque for Paulo Roberto Costa, a former director of Petrobras, the investigation expanded nationwide. Costa agreed after he was charged to provide evidence to the investigation. A newly adopted law introduced rewarded collaboration, a type of plea bargaining involving sentence reductions for defendants who cooperate in investigations. Costa's deposition showed which political parties controlled Petrobras. It also led to a wave of arrests. Fernando Soares, also known as Fernando Beano, a businessman and lobbyist, was allegedly the connection between major Brazilian construction firms and the government formed by the Workers' Party. Filed 37 criminal charges against 179 people, mostly politicians and businessmen. In December 2017, nearly 300 people had been accused of crimes in the scandal. after Marcelo Odebrecht, grandson of the company founder, was sentenced to 19 years in prison. He and other Odebrecht executives were willing to act as witnesses and to give information about the broader corruption scheme. Because of the sentence reduction incentives of the rewarded collaboration law, Odebrecht had a secret branch used to make illegal payments in several Latin American countries. From Hugo Chavez in Venezuela to Ricardo Martinelli in Panama, Odebrecht was charged with fines totaling $2.6 billion by authorities of Brazil, Switzerland, and the United States after they admitted bribing officials in 12 countries for some